What's up, guys? How's it going? This is another episode of Joseph Composed It, and that's me. Really appreciate the praise on the headphone video that I did, the Audio-Technica versus Beyerdynamics. Got a lot of praise for that. You guys really like that. I really appreciate that, more than you know. Need to make more videos, but wanted to make this video because I taught myself how to make beats, record vocals, vocal production, mix and master. I'm really liking the way my stuff is sounding, and other people are telling me that my stuff is sounding pretty professional. So I thought about all the things that I came across that made my stuff start sounding very professional, and I thought, well, I could do a video on that. So I'm gonna go over a couple key things to make your stuff sound better, make your stuff sound more professional, okay? You've probably heard all these things before, maybe, so I'm just reinforcing and letting you know they weren't lying, okay? And the third one is a two-parter, and that one's very important. That's purely production based, so stay tuned for the third one, okay? So let's go over the first thing that I think is very important to making your stuff sound more professional, and that is acoustic treatment, okay? I know, I've heard this before, but I'm gonna go over it again. This is a 4-inch thick acoustic panel. These are a little bit more expensive than your typical, 12 by 12 inch acoustic panel you can put on your wall. These are a little bit more expensive, but they're extremely nice and very, very good at dampening sound. If you do not have acoustic panels, your vocal production does not sound as clear as you think it does. Okay, if you don't have bass traps and acoustic panels in your corners over here, your bass does not sound like you think it does. All of your music has a lot more echo and reverb than you think it does. Can you see why all of these things are negative and very bad? The music needs to translate. You need to know that when you're making stuff in your studio, it will sound like how you want it to in the car, on a JBL speaker, in the AirPods, blah, 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 blah. You want to know your stuff's going to translate. If you don't have acoustic panels set up around your space, your music's going to sound a lot more echoey when you hear it somewhere else. The bass is going to sound way too big. It's not going to sound as clear as you thought it sounded. You need to get acoustic treatment in your space. If you have acoustic treatment, then you already know, oh yeah, my stuff started sounding a lot better when I got acoustic treatment, okay? So prioritize that. That's number one, acoustic treatment. Number two, when you're wanting to be a producer, make music, of course, things come at a budget. You don't want to spend a whole lot of money on everything so soon because it's a hobby. But you need to prioritize getting a very good pair of these. You need to prioritize getting a really good pair of a piece of equipment that's going to tell you how your stuff sounds, okay? So I had a pair of PreSonus speakers. They were handed down to me from a friend who passed away. Rest in peace. And I actually ended up handing them down to someone who was starting out working on music. I felt proud and happy to be able to give them to someone who was just starting out because he gave them to me when I was starting out. PreSonuses were good. When I went to the Yamahas, my Yamaha HS7s, you don't even have the option to stay making bad mixes. Like, if you have the Yamaha HS7s and I give them to you, I bless them to you, and you have them for like a year, you're gonna get good at sound. You don't even have the option. You understand what I'm saying? Like, if you have speakers like this, you're going to get good with sound. So you need to get a pair of speakers that's gonna translate. That's going to show you all the flaws in your mix. Something with a really nice high end, a low bass extension. Now, of course, speakers cost money. All this stuff costs money. But there's sites like Z-Sounds, Sweetwater, American Musical Supply, where you can make payments with no credit check and no interest. It's a fantastic option for things like this. Number two, which we're on right now, is very important. Get a pair of studio monitors that's going to tell you how your music sounds. That's going to actually tell you how your music sounds. Because if you're always working with headphones, you may not get the best mix and masters. If you have a pair of speakers and they're only just barely a couple $100, they may not be showing you all the things you need to see and hear to make your music sound as professional as you want it to sound. Okay? So number one, acoustic treatment. Number two, get a very good pair of studio monitors. And number three, this is purely production based, you need to know how to use compression, and you need to know how to use an EQ. I see producers and they barely touch on compression, and they don't even know how to EQ. They never bring up an equalizer, and I'm like, do you not know how to carve out space because that's what an EQ is doing. If you know how to EQ, then you know I'm going to keep the good parts of the sound, take away the bad parts of the sound, and I'm going to put my sound and space them all out. Catch you with stereo placement, but you need to know how to be able to EQ, because when it comes to vocal production, EQing is extremely important. When you're subtracting, when you're getting surgical, when you're taking away frequencies that don't sound good, bringing up the frequencies that do sound good. If you're scared of using an EQ and it seems foreign to you, stop. Go watch a 30-minute YouTube video on how to use an EQ. If you don't know how to use an EQ, you probably never do. Your stuff probably sounds muddy. Your stuff probably sounds cluttered. Okay? Second thing, compression. Compression, if you say, oh, I don't like my music very compressed, I would just look at your Spotify or Apple Music playlist and I'm like, oh, you're funny, you like compression. Because almost everything's compressed. And the way music sounds today is very compressed. And the mastering process, that's just a lot of compression with some other things, okay? Vocals, when you're getting very good at vocal production, you need to know how to use compression well. You need to be able to train your ears to hear compression very well. It does not come overnight. It takes time, and you can't buy time. But in terms of the third part, production, you need to be able to EQ well, and you need to be able to know how to use a compressor well. It's very, very important that you get good with compression and you understand how compression works. Things that sound very professional to you are made by people who know how to EQ things very well and know how to compress things very well. I joke around with myself. I say an audio engineer is just a fancy term for someone who knows how to EQ very well and knows how to compress very well. These are very important. Of course, you want things to be in key, but you know, music is magic. Well, magic is just something that's EQ'd well, compressed well, and in key. Okay? So let's recap. You want your stuff to start sounding more professional, you need to get acoustic treatment. Doesn't need to be this, but something akin to this. You need to have it around your space so your music starts sounding a lot more accurate. You need to get a pair of studio monitors that are good, that's going to translate very well. That could be a nice pair of PreSonus's, KRK's, Kali Audio. I might be getting a pair of Kali Audio speakers soon. A pair of Yamahas, HS5s, HS7s, Genelix, Atom Audio. Do research, but get a really good pair of studio monitors. I promise you, it's going to elevate the way your stuff sounds. And number 3, production-wise, get very good at EQing. Get very good at compression. When you start getting good at these things, your stuff's going to start sounding more professional. 1 + 1 = 2. Alright guys, now I'm going to be posting a new song that I have on here. If you want to take a look at it, take a look at it. I'd very much appreciate it. You comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of this video. Go ahead and comment what you thought of these things are as important to you as they are important to me. Is there anything else really important to make your stuff sound more professional that you felt like I missed? Comment it. I want to know what your thoughts are. I want to know what you guys are thinking. Comment, like, subscribe. Just go ahead and give me some love, guys, okay? I'm going to be making more videos, trying to be a lot more consistent. I hope you got something out of this video, okay? Have a good day.